Test 1, test 2.
Testing, testing. I am talking.
Hey guys, so I told you I was gonna interview Andrea and I finally am doing it today. Just wanted to give a quick overview of who Andrea is and like what she does. So basically she went to school to become a naturopathic doctor. Then something shifted in her life and she decided to go all in helping her husband turn his passion into a career. She jumped into a totally different field that she later discovered that she really loves, and that is growing a business and becoming a social media marketer. And by the way, their Instagram is exploding, so check it out. I'll link it below. So because her husband is an artist, a lot of people may think that it's impossible to make money with being a painter, but they turned it into something so fun and interesting to a lot of people. So this interview is supposed to show you that anything is possible and prove to you that you can do anything and something amazing with your life. So let's get right to it. Hey friends, thank you so much for joining. I wanted to do a fun video for you guys, which I think will be so interesting to you guys because she's a self-taught business owner and a social media marketer. I'm so honored to sit with you here, and thanks for taking your time to answer some questions that I think people love to listen to. Of course,
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here and just share kind of like what I've learned, because I know that someone could benefit from it. So
you went to school and you were going for a bachelor degree, or you got a bachelor degree, and then what happened after you finished that and then you took a break from school, right? What happened after that, because your life totally shifted and you took on a different path?
Yeah, so basically I grew up like the traditional way where, you know, like we're taught to go to school, get your degree, go work at a job, you know. So I was, and my mom was in the healthcare field, so I was always like around that. I was exposed to that, and from like a young age I was interested in the human body and everything. So at first I started going to school for nursing, and that didn't really work out, so I wasn't passionate about it. And so then I wanted to get into natural medicine because that had really had a big impact on my life. So then I had taken a break to get married. I had finished 2 years of school, so I had 2 years left in my bachelor's, and I needed to get something that would take me into my graduate school for becoming a doctor. You have to get your undergrad, so I was going for kinesiology with a specialty in like medicine. So it was more focused on getting into like a doctorate degree. I had finished my 4-year degree. I was graduating in about a month, and that was in June, and I was supposed to start, I had gotten accepted to graduate school where I was gonna go for another 4 years, and this program, since it's small, it's $40,000 a year. So I was about to get into about $200,000 of debt for school.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so it's a big commitment.
That is.
A very big commitment, especially to make at such a young age, you know. And so, but at that point, like, I'm a very determined person, and so I was like, okay, I made this decision, I got accepted, you know, I'm not turning back, I'm going. And at the time, Felix was doing art, so I was thinking like, okay, well, one of us has to make a living, you know? Yeah. One of us has to make a solid living.
Yeah, because he wasn't making money yet, right?
I mean, he was, but it was like very, very basic. Like, we were just like praying each month that a painting would sell or something,
yeah,
you know?
Right.
And so it wasn't like stable for sure. And like, so I had set my mind that I was going to this school. I got accepted, and that had already kind of like made my mind up, because I had been like praying about it, and I was like, okay, if I get accepted, then that's like a sign, you know, that I need to go.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I got my sign and I'm going. You know, my parents didn't want to like ruin my dreams or anything.
Right.
They thought that this is what I wanted to do with my life, and so they were kind of like, they were supportive, you know.
Yeah.
And like, it's more of like a stable job, even though like naturopaths, you know, like they are doctors, like you make 6 figures a year, but it's not like anything crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 150,000 maybe, but you're paying off your debt your whole life,
right?
You know,
yeah.
So it doesn't matter that you're making 6 figures. And so my dad had kind of like warned me about that, you know, but at the same time I was like so determined that I didn't want to like kind of listen, you know. And so I like took it into account, but I was like, oh, but that's not gonna happen to me, you know? And so anyway, I had set my mind, I was supposed to start in September for school, and then my brother calls me in June and he's like, hey, Andrea, do you have a minute to talk? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, he was saying like, well, and at this time, Felix had just gotten to like 100,000 followers on Instagram. And like, usually, you know, most people think like, oh, they're making tons of money. And a lot of people are making tons of money with 100,000 followers. But I think it really depends like what industry you're in, you know, like for us, art, like there's not many people doing this, you know, not many people that I knew of had over 100,000 followers as an artist, and like there's not as many opportunities for artists to make money through Instagram, you know, you kind of have to make your own job. And so like versus other influencers like fitness and all this stuff, they're much bigger industries, and so there's a lot more companies like looking to sponsor people, you know. So at the time, like we weren't making barely anything, you know. And so my brother, but it had started to pick up and stuff, and so my brother's like, are you sure you want to like do this for the rest of your life? You know, this is like a really big commitment, you can't go back. Like once you start school, like you cannot stop because you're already in debt, you know, so you have to like go all the way or not at all. You know. And so I was like kind of annoyed, you know, because I had made my mind up already, but like it made me think about it. And he's like, yeah, you know, like right now you're thinking with like a scarcity mindset, you know, you're thinking about like what could go wrong instead of like what you could do if you took a year off and really thought about it, you know. And so that's what made me think about it, and then eventually made the decision to take a year off.
Wow. Within that year, because I know I read a blog post that you wrote, and you wrote like a list of things that happened within that year, and like you learned so much and you gained all this experience, you had a trip to Florida and like all these things. Can you talk about like a little bit, like can you summarize that in a couple of words, like what you gained out of that 1 year break, and like what insight, what opened your eyes, what did you see differently?
Yeah, I think that like a lot of times like we are so scared, you know, about the future and like what could happen, that we don't want to take that step into like the unknown, you know. And that's so like I think back a lot of times and I'm like, man, what if I hadn't taken a year off, you know? What if I was in school right now? It's crazy to me, because in this year basically we've gone from barely making our rent. Okay, I'll just start with the financials, okay? So basically, in a year, we went from barely making our rent to like 6 figures, more than that, and like not only that, not even only about the money. Like we like forget the money, you know? Who cares about the money? But like we've gained like so much more than that in just like opening our eyes to see the possibilities in life, you know. And like realizing that, wow, we are working together as husband and wife, and how is this even possible? We wake up when we want to, you know, and all this stuff. But more like the most important thing is that like we're joyful, you know, we're happy, we're seriously like content with life, and I want that for everyone, you know.
Yeah, I do too. It's available to anyone. It really is. And it's not when you get like something fancy, but when you set your mind and you just kind of see life at a different perspective, I think is when, you know, when there's a shift in the way we think and the way we see life, I think that's when
doors start to open.
Start to open.
In
and
every
you see
area.
happiness, and then you become loving, you're not even there yet, but you're loving it because you're headed towards the right direction. And that's so happy. That makes me happy, because like I just started doing YouTube and stuff, and I'm happy because I finally know I'm doing the right thing.
Your purpose.
You know?
Your purpose.
Yeah. Everyone has purpose.
Yeah.
Everyone has purpose, you guys.
Everyone has a purpose, but I think that not everyone realizes their purpose, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times, like, what I was saying is that it's like settling, you know? We settle for what we think we can get, you know, when there's really so much that we don't even know, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like I remember in school, like we're all studying so hard, you know, and we're taught that that's normal. That's what you have to do. You have to go through this when you're young. You have to like be broke and miserable throughout college for 4 years. You have to hate your life, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll get a job, you know, and then you're gonna be working the rest of your life, and maybe eventually you'll pay off your house when you're about to die, you know? That's
well,
like
that's because majority of people that's how they live.
Yeah. But that's not how it has to be.
No, not
and like
at all.
I think that I didn't know that, and so many people don't know that there's other things out there, you know?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is stepping out into the unknown. And imagine like you got that phone call from your brother and you were annoyed, probably because you were like, he's probably kind of right.
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you feel that?
Yeah, I felt like, because then it's like, because I had set my mind, and like he's trying to like force me to like see something different, and like I don't want to have to see it because it's uncomfortable, you know? I don't want to see that, you know, because then I have to do something about it,
right?
You know, and if
it's like, sorry, it's like looking at your excuse in the face.
Yeah.
You know? It's
yeah.
Like, okay.
And you're like, okay, I have to do something now.
It.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy. Oh, here's a good question. So when you went to school, for 4 years you were in school thinking that you're gonna become a doctor and all this stuff. Do you now, looking back, think that the 4 years was a waste?
Oh gosh.
Or
like I think that sometimes like I just like think to myself like, oh my gosh, like I wish, like if you are 18 right now or 20 or 21 and you're in school, guys, please do your research and see what options there are out there. Explore. Do not get stuck in one path. That's what I would say, because honestly, like, how in the world can you possibly know what you want to do with your life when you're 18 or 20 even, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I wouldn't say it's a waste, because, you know, like I gained a lot of, during that time, I think honestly, if I had gotten this right away at that age, you know, I wouldn't be thankful. You know, I wouldn't appreciate as much, you know, because I know what it's like. I know I can relate to the people that are struggling in school or struggling financially to make it each month, you know. I can understand that pain, and like if I hadn't gone through that, like I wouldn't be able to relate, you know.
So true.
So I'm glad in that sense that I went through that, and I'm also glad that, like, if anything in the world were to happen or whatever, like at least I have my degree, you know? I don't think degrees are needed anymore unless you're like literally trying to become a doctor or a lawyer or something like that.
If that's like really what you want to do.
Yeah. But I mean, it's nice to have, you know?
Yeah, totally. Where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? If you
in
have
the
an
next
idea.
5 years. Wow. Yep, it's important to think about that.
Because really quickly, I wanted to also say, like, you're traveling pretty soon too, right?
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be going to
where?
Where are you going?
So, we have a few trips coming up. We are going with you.
With me?
To LA.
Oh, that's right. How did I forget? Oh my gosh.
So we're going to LA in a couple weeks, actually.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna kick it off, and then.
Oh my god, that's gonna be fun.
And then after that, we're gonna be going to New York, and then from there to France and Italy. Woo! We're gonna be gone for like 3 months or 4 months, maybe.
Yeah. So now that you can do that, you're gonna go travel. You want to travel, right?
Oh my gosh. I've like dreamed about this, my whole life.
Yeah.
Like my whole life, this is my dream.
It's coming true.
Yeah.
You're living your dream.
It's crazy.
Did you think that you would be here like even 3 years ago?
Never. I thought
even
like
2 years ago?
because like I always wanted to like even 1 year ago.
Yeah.
You know? I always wanted to
dang.
adventure and like explore the world, and I remember even like praying about it, like God, I really want to just like experience your creation, experience this world you made for us. Like I know you didn't just make us to like sit here in our house all day, you know, and like sit in the library all day, you know,
for sure.
so I would pray about that all the time. So in the next 5 years, well, there's a lot of like different aspects, you know, of life, of course. But in the next 5 years, I think for sure I want Felix to not have to worry about like posting on Instagram. That's the main thing. Because like we started this business through Instagram. It started off more as like just for fun, you know. But I think a lot of people like we still love it, but we don't want anything to be like holding us, you know, like having control over us.
And you feel like that's kind of the route it took you for some reason, or?
I just feel like if you're not careful, you start to like worry a lot about that, because in a way it is where like your money's coming from, you know, like you want to be getting new followers because then you're getting new customers, you know, you're getting more viewers on your YouTube or whatever, you know. So I'm not gonna lie and say it's not important, because it's very important, you know. When you're like in social media, you need to be growing for your business to grow. And so we think it's like very important to not only rely on social media, you know. Like, so right now we're in the process of like diversifying more, and so in 5 years we want to make like his products more available on a lot of different places.
What exactly are you doing right now?
So right now, I think what I love most about my job is that every single day is different. And so right now it's kind of like I'm doing a lot of different things, but I would say like if you could call me something, I would call myself a social media marketer and a business owner with my husband.
When you took that break from school and then you thought that's what you wanted to do because you're like you love health, right? Like you were into this, and you were like, health is going to be something related to that, until you discovered how much you love what you're doing now, right?
Yeah.
You didn't know that this is something that was in you.
I had no idea it existed. I didn't even know this was a job, or like I always knew that what I wanted to do was going to either be with healthcare or business. Like I've always liked business, but I don't know. I didn't want to do it the traditional school way. It seemed boring to me, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, it is.
It is, it's true. I don't like school either. What would you say to anyone listening that is either in school or already in a career and they don't necessarily hate it, but if they were honest with themselves, they would say that it's not their deep passion and like they don't have a huge passion for it? What would you say to those people?
Yes. That's
you have
common.
some words.
I feel like that's so common these days. Like honestly, if you are honest with yourself, and you love your job, please comment in the comments below and tell us your job, because I would love to hear that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love
feel
that.
like so many people are not happy with what they're doing, you know, and they're not honest with themselves. I feel like
settle.
That's the first step, is like getting really, really honest with yourself and saying like, what is it that I love? Is this what I love? And maybe like write it down. Like, what do you love? And start there, you know?
Dang.
And
whoa, that was a good point. Write it down.
Yeah.
Because your head's more clear when you write things down.
Yeah, because like we think things all throughout the day, like, and you think like, oh, I really like this, but then that thought's gone, and you're like, I don't know what I love, you know?
I don't know what I love anymore.
Or it might even be something so obscure that you don't even realize that it could be a career.
Yeah,
you know?
That's so true.
You know, so like even the little things, like if you love like picking berries or something, I don't know. If you loved sneakers or something, you know, anything, write it down.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's good. Love it.
Oh, and also if like once you get to that point where you like figure out what it is that you love, then you make time to do it, you know, to do it more and more.
I so agree
because
with that.
I feel like people always say like, oh, I don't have time, but it's so important to make the time, you know, like, okay, you have kids, you're trying to get fit, and you have a job, you know. Welcome to life. Everyone has stuff, you know, like look at you, you're a mom, you're still having time to record, you know,
because I love it.
You gotta prioritize it.
It's true.
Wake up earlier, go to bed later, work on the weekends, you know, there's always a choice, you know.
Yeah, until you get to the point that you are more free.
Yeah.
Because I heard this from Casey Neistat, from one of his vlogs. He had an interview with like this guy, and he was like saying that discipline equals freedom. You want more time? Okay, wake up earlier. There's your more time, you know? And then eventually it pays off later. Like, working the weekend sucks, but it won't be for the rest of your life.
Exactly. That's the thing. Is
it's not forever.
That people think that it's like, oh, it's gonna be the rest of my life, but like, no. It'll free, like, you will be doing what you love, first of all. Second of all, you'll be growing in your passion, you know, and along the way, like, you'll be figuring out how to make money. Yeah,
I mean, it's still hard work. A lot of times people think, oh, if you live your dream, if your passion, you're living it out, and you're like, oh, it's a piece of cake. No. It's still hard work, right?
It's harder.
But you enjoy it.
It's harder.
It's harder.
And that's why no one wants to do it. You know, because it's easy to just come home from work and you're tired, you want to watch Netflix, you know. But the harder thing is to get home from work when you're tired and still stay up for 3 hours and work on what you are trying to do. Yeah. You know? But it's necessary. Like, even with Felix, I didn't realize this is what he was doing, but like, he would do that. He would go work construction, which he hated, and then he would come home and record a video. And I would be like, okay, why is he painting so much? You know? Like, painting? What? You know? Yeah. But he was working on it. And he wasn't making money. We weren't making money for a long time.
Man, I love that. Such a good story. Is this inspirational, guys? If it is, leave this video a like, because that way I know to make content like this or to not. That was just a side note. So last couple questions. How do you like working with your husband? Is it annoying? Do you love it? Or you see him all the time, so how is it?
I love it. Me and Felix, we're like best friends, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say like we're perfect, you know, because sometimes we have our disagreements. Like, I'm like telling him, like, because I'm more of the business side and he's the artistic side, and like sometimes I need to remember that he's not a robot, you know, and I'm like, you need to post this time and this day, and like, I'm trying to help him, you know, I'm trying to help him be more productive or like get more content out, and he's like, no, I'm exhausted. And sometimes I have to like listen to him, and like, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right.
That's good.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, like, we love it. Like, we are always throwing ideas off each other, and hold on, I had something. Wait. So we're always like putting ideas off each other, but the thing about working with your spouse is that you need to set the time to turn off, you know? Because so many times we get exhausted and we don't even realize it, you know, because we're always thinking about it. We're always talking about it. We're always thinking of new ideas, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes, like, even just coming here on this vacation, like, our relationship is so different.
It's so true.
Yeah, like, it's just so relaxed, you know? And sometimes we forget, you know, to be like, oh.
You guys are so... Sorry. I don't know why do I interrupt?
Sometimes we forget to, like, you know, take time to work on our relationship. Like, we're working so hard on our business, and that's great, and it's a lot of fun, and that's why we're working so hard on it, because it's fun. Yeah. But we also need to remember to, like, take time to pause and, like, spend time as a romantic couple, not just business partners.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say, you guys are such an inspiration to me. And to many people, you know that. A lot of people are so inspired by you guys.
You're so sweet.
Any last words? Anything you want to share? Throw it out there. Anything? Because I don't really have any more questions, but this was so good for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people. But anything you want to add or like encourage or motivate?
I just want to say that like no matter what it is, there is a way to do what you love as a living, or you know, make it happen. And that's the thing, is that people, I think, just give up too easily, too soon. You know, you never know. Yeah, you don't know what opportunity's right around the corner. You know, you don't know.
That's crazy.
This happened a year ago. You know, a year ago.
That's literally a corner.
Yeah,
it's like one little movement.
Yep.
One little decision.
Yes.
One decision, one phone call, one interaction, one person you meet, and like your life can change forever. One mindset change, one decision, one morning you wake up earlier and your life changes completely.
Yeah.
Like it's simple, one simple thing, and I think people underestimate the power of choice. You know, they just kind of go through their routine, go through their day. It's like, what if you intentionally choose to do one thing different? You know, your whole world could flip over in a good way or a bad way, but
you can change
make the right
whole course of not only your life, but, and I think that's another main thing that we've like found through this business, is that it's not only about how we've grown like our income or are more joyful in life or better relationship. It's not only that, it's that when you have fulfillment and purpose in your life, you're able to take that and overflow into other people's lives, you know?
Yes.
That is the main thing. And that's the most encouraging thing for us, is just hearing the testimonies of the people who have enjoyed Felix's videos or have found anything inspiring that he's posted, you know, or like the fact that we can share this story, you know, that this right here is the whole reason for this entire thing.
Did you hear that?
So I'm glad that I could share with you guys, and I really hope that you will go out there and go after your dreams and not give up.
Yeah, so now people are probably wondering, where can I find this girl? What does she do exactly? I want to follow her. Where do they find you? Woo! What's your favorite platform too?
Oh gosh, right now Instagram, because honestly the last couple of years I haven't had much time to focus on my own thing. I've been helping Felix with his, so I'm just now finally starting to post more, so Instagram.
And we'll link her Instagram somewhere on the screen so you guys will see.
Oh, and I also have a blog.
That's right! She started a blog not too long ago. Super cool. It's so interesting. I know this girl like so well, but I still read her blogs and I learn something from it every single time. Super inspirational, basic, to the point. Check it out. I will also link that in my video and also in my description, so check it out, you guys. This was awesome. I loved it. Thanks for being here.
Having me, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna do big things, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
And you're gonna do big things.
Yeah, you guys. This was all for you. So I forgot to turn on the mic for this part, but I was basically saying that I hope you took something valuable from this interview. I've been so excited to share this video with you guys, and we finally made it happen. You know, there's so much negativity in this life, and so it takes effort to focus on the positive, and I hope that I can help spread the good news and encouraging words with you guys. The goal is for you to be encouraged and to face your excuses. Don't live that boring, average life. There's something more for you in this life, guys, but it won't come to you out of the blue. It's gonna take some work and it does take time, but hey, it's all worth it in the end. You can do this. Hey, if you're new here, consider subscribing to see more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the bell to be the first one to see when I post, which usually it's every Saturday morning. And please let me know in the comments below, what are you doing right now that you don't necessarily hate, but you know you need to get out of it? Let me know. I'm super curious to read that, and I will be responding to all my comments. So I hope you guys learned something from here and have an amazing day. Bye, friends.